Good day, my dear students. You are both my undergraduate as well as emerging postgraduate students. R.A.T.S welcomes you to this presentation of What Next. This has taken not only you people, but also the faculty, the institutes all across the country by surprise. What was pending for quite a few years has been suddenly put into force. We shall not be analyzing it beyond that. And all that we are having now is a storm in a teacup. So there will be a lot of arguments and counter arguments which we shall not indulge in. So the problem is not very serious, it is just a storm in a teacup. R.A.T.S shall now unravel the modality of handling it. Whenever there is such a storm, there are two probabilities. One, I shall become immersed in it and get drowned. Or I might comfortably float in it and have a nice nap. Depends on my state of mind. The one catch in the present one is it is both a qualifying exam as well as an exit, or I can even put it as an entrance exam. Qualifying in the sense I will be clearing my final MBBS. And entrance or exit, whatever you might call, I will be preparing myself for ascending the ladder of postgraduation. But then, this is one exam where both are through the same door at the same time. So this is a little tricky. On the one hand, we have got exams for qualifying. In the sense, I either pass or do not pass. On the other hand, there is a competitive exam in which my performance alone does not matter. It has to be in relation to the performance of my colleagues elsewhere across the country. So, in that way, it is both a summative examination as well as an entrance examination. All said and done, this has been declared by the highest body which we shall abide by. There is not an iota of controversy or protest from any of us whatsoever. What I would otherwise advise you people is, again, not go into the analysis of the distribution of the marks or the subjects that are being covered whatsoever. Roughly, we all know there is going to be a medicine and allied, surgery and allied, gynecology, pediatrics, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology. So, these are certain disciplines that are being covered in it. Maybe the others also will be pulled into it. We shall not be analyzing, but we shall read. The mode of preparation is what I'm aiming to tell you people. First, do not be perturbed. You students are like water. You will find your way. Whatever be the resistance, water always finds its way. And the most fluid genius I have ever seen in my life is my student. But then there are some misdirections. Some of us directly plunge into the so-called MCQs, multiple choice questions, and start reading them. Please do remember that Any number of questions can be set from a chapter or from a system. Any number of questions, because such will be the permutation combination that is possible. And moreover, a question shall not be restricted to one particular chapter. There will be an answer in it, but then there will be others which are not answers. They are called distractors. They can be from any chapter that is totally irrelevant to it. So even that I should have some idea. There are different modes of preparing for it. As I go through my classes on what next, I shall be touching upon it here and there. Reading MCQs alone is like eating rice without cooking. I hope it is apt for the moment. MCQs means multiple choice questions. So you are given a stem or a question, and then there are the clues, one of which or the nearest one is supposed to be the correct. Now, there are different types of these MCQs. One is called a simple recall. Recall in the sense, out of memory, we try to answer them. So it is more like reading, mugging up, and then answering. It has been said that the bulk of the question shall be false. Good. Then there is another thing called as application, which is at a slightly higher level of thinking. You apply and then you try to create an answer. The third one will be problem based, which is more analytic. In this, there will be a lot of detail that will be given, a clinical history, the laboratory value, so on and so forth, or a radiological picture, etc., which I am supposed to analyze and then put together, come to an answer. That is called a problem-based question. So these are the three modalities of questions that we are able to get. We shall be getting, whatever be the paper. Generally, we used to call it as MK, D2K, and N2K. MK is must know. So the majority of the questions shall be must know questions. But then the problem here is it is not just a passing exam, but it is a competitive exam. There has to be some degree of differentiation that is possible. Only then the purpose is met. If in an exam, 100% of the students get 100% marks, something is wrong with the exam. Similarly, 100% of the students score only 0. Definitely something is wrong with the exam. Therefore, it has to be moderate, and that will be assessed over a period of time. That is not our business. So there will be the bulk of the questions which shall be must know. Next will be, as I told you, application or desirable to. It is desired that the student knows. Last can be nice to know. It can be an exaggerated, out of the way question. Generally, when it comes for the theory, we will be given some bonus marks. But here it remains so. So this N2K, it can be used for differentiating or to make the core of the top. So these are the different modalities of questions in any subject whatsoever. That is what is shown over here. So there is a recall over here at the lower end. I just by heart, I read, I am able to answer. Then I apply it. It is an application. Finally, there can be an analysis. Synthesis. I finally evaluate the condition or even prescribe a medicine for it. So this can be the highest domain whatsoever. So that is again beyond us. It is for the medical education, the teachers, the professors, the paper setters, and the universities to think of. Now, what are the pros and cons of this MCQs? Multiple choice questions. After all, why are MCQs being given? Because they are objective. Objective in the sense, you are right, you get the mark. You are wrong, you don't get the mark. There is no subjective element according to the liking of the teacher or the examiner or the situation. Secondly, by MCQs, each question is going to carry 1 mark or 4 marks whatsoever. It will be covering a large portions, a huge portions. In fact, the entire cut surface of any subject can be covered by MCQs. It is good for competitive exams because we will have to rank the students. And as I had been telling you people, please do not buy hard. Multiple permutation combinations are possible. Multiple. I will not be giving you examples now, but then as the classes are being taken. There can be a degree of correlation and analysis which will be measuring our higher domain. Ranking is possible. And this also will lead us to a pass in the next. So we are not only passing the exam, but also trying to score a higher rank. So these are the advantages of the MCQs. Now, what are the negative points in it? It will be moderately tough. It has to be moderately tough. Otherwise, as I told you, you cannot segregate. Secondly, you find that the student will have to be ambitious. I cannot be a passive reader. So some amount of input, energy has to come from us. Percentile is there. This comes for the final selection for the post-graduation. So in this, what happens is, it is not the number of marks that I score. It is in relation to the topmost score. So in that way, I find that there will be a ranking system that emerges. This is very common in the USML. Time management is extremely important. Time management where in preparing for the exam. So throughout, how do I organize myself? Then time management in writing the exam. Negative marks, of course, are there, and you people are better experienced than me in handling it. So these are the positives and the negatives of any MCQ in a competitive exam. In spite of all this, what I would very much advise you students is stick to books. Books can be whatever is recommended by your faculty, by your professors, what you have been reading over a period of time. Do not straight away plunge into the multiple choice questions. And any other training program that you are undergoing, the books that they recommend, they had given, make use of everything. A good book is the precious lifeblood of a master spirit, John Milton. So, my dear students, we have all understood that it is not just a qualifying or a passing exam, it is also a competitive exam. But then both are not impossible. Now look at this. There is no storm in a teacup at all. It is quite calm, and your mind shall also be so. And you will be traveling the hindrances that you are coming across. On my side, I shall see what next is there for you people in the series of classes that is to come to help my students. Thank you and wish you all the best.